Hola, hola, hello everyone. Welcome back to Bing Pod. And if you're joining us on video on YouTube, I'll do a quick 360. First of all, I'm at Lago Chapultepec. I'm next to the Casa de Uman, which is like Universidad de Nacional, I think. And I'm under this tree. And here's the casa, and there's a beautiful willow, and look at this rock. Oh my god, beautiful rock with green. And then there's this cute little I don't know if it's a gazebo. It's cute. I would sit there if there was seating, but there's not. And then you can see there's people boating on the lake, and there's a big fountain, and you can even see the BBVA in the background. And it's oh yeah, it's like very normal and common to have serious PDA. So if that happens, I'm apologies in advance. And I also really hope I don't get bit by any mosquitoes. I'm moving mi cuarto, so I'm like moving rooms. I think I talked about it before, but I'm extending my stay. So people, you know, are moving around and I'm moving around, and I had to like check out before checking in. So that's what I'm doing. I kind of didn't do my full face of makeup, so you're gonna have to deal with it. Hmm. Today I wanted to talk about expression. If I can get into a more comfortable position, I really should get. I wonder if I can. I always do this. It's like the most random spots. Oh, no, too random. Is this? No, way too random. Okay, it's not gonna work. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this expression. Look, I feel like people stare at me, and it makes me want to stare back like super hard, like super hard. Okay, well we'll respect it. Look at this. Look at this swan. How cute. We'll respect this lady. It's like okay, let's stare at each other. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, and I a a continuation of my discussion of how gross the guys and the harassment is here. Sometimes it just makes me want to say like, yeah, see, bonita. You know what I mean? Like I know. Getting too bold. I'm only here for another week, so we'll just have to deal with it. Anyways, I wanted to talk about the expression. I had a really good idea while I was, because everyone knows, and you can see I'm kind of breaking out right now. So I'm using my pimple patches, which you can get at any drugstore. I saw this one TikTok creator that always shows up on my For You page. He was asking, he was like, "Where do you get those pimple patches?" And I was like, "Drugstore, obviously." Oh my God, I really do need to get something that can hold my phone so my arm doesn't get too tired. Yeah. So my thought for a vision was that once I get like super in, because my success is inevitable. Once I get like very very into like the scene and I have good connections, I would love to throw a community art show. Like my art, yeah, but also my friends' art and their poetry and their words, or what they're up to, their pictures, their photographs. And also like I'd love to have like performances and stand up. It would be like, and food and everything. just because of where what I did in my previous job, I would definitely have like a beginning with like a land acknowledgement with some, native first people, mm, open, welcoming, whatever whatever they wanted, however they welcome, whether it's some sort of chant ritual, or cleansing of the space or something like that. Like I think that would be really cool. Like under the trees. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking about. Again, my sleeping and my eating schedule are like out of control. So I'm sure you could understand that I'm breaking up and waking up randomly. See, I feel like it's a continuation of like people like in the digital space, like they they want a photo bomb, but when I look at them, they turn away. Like, be bold. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna disturb, like, get ready to be fully yourself because, like, disturb, you know? Yeah. So I've been thinking, like, expression through art, through music. I went to the Frida Kahlo Museum. If you haven't seen my TikTok, I also uploaded it on YouTube Shorts so you can see it. I went to the area. I went to the, park and the museum, her house, and it was really beautiful, of course. And the tragedy of it all and how she transmuted it into something beautiful, into art, into sculpture, into a living space that she loved and like represented her fully. And it makes me think more and more about like, you know, what I'm doing and how it kind not validates me, but it's like, okay, people do this and people do what I do and people have done what I've done for centuries, and like they get it. Like some people get it. And I've been, now that I'm not so bouncing around and I've kind of calmed down, I'm definitely getting back into writing. Like that creative flow is coming back to me, and I'm making videos, which is a new endeavor for me, but I think I'm already doing really well in terms of just my own work and trying to like put my ideas out there. I think there's like it's hard to it's hard to burst through the algorithm, which I think is really upsetting. Cuz I think like I definitely deserve it, and I also don't I get that I don't want to be that there's no rush, but I would like it to happen soon. Like I'd like to have like a larger audience sooner rather than later. Oh my god, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this without I really need to get like one of those like mm, things. I wonder if I could let me see. Moving around. Okay. I've tried to set it up. I think I got it. I think it's gonna work. And if it doesn't, honestly, who cares? It's gonna have to work. Anyways, yeah. I hope nobody steals my shit. I don't think, honestly, and again, it's a different world out here. But people really do be like having a whole production, like not the way that I do it because I don't have a full production, but people have. I like pass by restaurants that have lighting, cameras, action, makeup, things like that, and they're having like a whole show and a whole thing, which I don't know if that's like what I'm moving towards. I'm thinking like, oh god, yeah, it's the dirt. I'm thinking that if I really had like my own team and crew, like best food review show ever has, like I feel like I'd be like him. Like I think I've talked about that before. Like I would want to um be really good to the people that are on my team, and I would want them to also be really good quality people who are passionate about the type of work that they do, because I feel like I'm passionate about the type of work that I do, and I'm so for like pay. Like when I was thinking about this idea, I don't know, what it means, but like, in order to have like this type of event, you would need like catering, you need a welcome. Like I've done events. Like you would need it all. Um, my friend wants to go into events, so I'm sure they would have an opinion. But yeah, I would want it to be like friends and family and also people that I know, because I'm a really, I don't want to say social butterfly, but like in terms, if you put it in terms of high school, like I would have my main group of friends, but I'd also have like other friends, like both outside of that main group that were like individual friends, and then I'd also have like friends like at other schools or you know club lacrosse, like whatever. And I feel like it's such a, not only would an event like that be so good for the people who are able to display their expression and their art, and it wouldn't, and I, the theme would be, my, I thought would be, and so if the question is who, who, me, who, us, who, we, yes, we, like I feel like I would want that to be like that. um and I would want people to bring their best, like not in accordance with a contract or somebody else's commission or whatever. I would, I don't have my glasses on so I can't really see what I look like, a I look like a little speck in a big forest, honestly, and I think that's what I am. um I'm probably gonna get lunch after this because I have to check in at 2. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I haven't been checking my bank accounts. I can't even look at them. Like I just can't. I can only do what I can do. And like I again, like I only get. I'm not balling out. I was balling out at the beginning, but not really. I mean, it's it's just food. Like I was talking to my friend right now, who's like, she's Mexicana, and like she comes to like Tijuana and Ciudad de Mexico, so she knows. And so I've been talking to her, and she told me how to do the pyramides, but I even think like it would be a stretch for me, both like mentally and just like fiscally, because I feel like moving is expensive. Like I don't think anybody talks about it, just like the, because even that I'm moving from one room to another, well, I have like, it is still like these past 2 days, the days that I've thought I was moving, because I thought I was going to move yesterday, I would bolt awake. I would i would out of my bed, and then uh, I would I would like check my phone and see that I was like still early and I still had time. And then, you know, I guess I would meditate, and then yeah, I think it's just like, maybe it's just me because I'm so riddled with anxiety of just like having to do something, like having a single thing to do is like not overwhelming, but it's like, oh, I have to do this thing and I have to like prepare the night before and then I have to do it on the day of. So yeah, even getting out to the pyramids, I think Brenda said you have to take a bus, probably to a bus or a car, or a shuttle or something like that. Um, which I honestly, I didn't tell her, but I think Brenda maybe gets it. I don't even. I feel like it's like food, shelter. What are the necessities? Foods. I mean, yeah, food, shelter, and clothing. Because I did have to buy flip flops for the rain, but I'm not buying anything out here. There was yesterday. I went to El Pendulo, which is a cafe breria. It's a cafe slash libreria, which is like you buy books here. You don't like it's not a biblioteca. Yeah, my French and my Spanish are like literally. I had it before when I was at Heidi La Hot Pot, and everybody in the back of house spoke either Chinese or Spanish, and then there would be me, and then all the young people who most of us could, you know, really mainly speak English, and we could squeak our way through the other ones. Oh, look, tour. I I don't like a guided tour. I've said it before. I don't like a guided tour. I think it makes me feel confined. I'm a wanderer, and I'm a I don't know if questioner is the right word, but I am curious. But I'm not curious about everything. I prefer a private tour. I prefer a private tour with someone who kind of leaves me alone. Like I don't really want to eat like lunch with you. I don't really want to get up in your business. And I had that when I was walking around when I was still in Centro. I was walking around like this plaza. Oh my god. Huge bird. Oh my god. A massive bird. Oh, another massive bird. Oh my god. Bird time. Oh, oh. They must be cranes. They're white cranes. I want to say it looks like 2 feet tall, and they're flying around. And I don't know what is it. Well, it's yes, it's summer, but I don't think it's summer on some level, but it feels like it's not their summer. It kind of feels like it's spring, and like I've seen primavera. Oh, it's shaking. Primavera like around, especially because it's like raining so heavily. Like that's a very spring characteristic. Because just because it's summer where you are doesn't mean that it's summer everywhere. Even though the months, there's dry season, there's high season, there's low season, there's typhoon season. And then the other thing that I've been thinking about a lot recently is just because you think I'm the love of your life does not mean that I even want to talk to you. I think something like, oh, butterfly. I think something that um a lot of people don't get when they like try to step to me is that I don't think you're attractive at all. Like I don't like you, and I don't think you're attractive. In fact, it's funny that you're even like talking to me. Like don't you like I don't know, like I really don't know what goes through guys' minds when they like approach, but I want nothing to do. I wish I could just say I'm not attracted to you. I'm not interested in you at all like that. Like I like with that tour guide that like he approached me because I was like, looking at the cats at the Las Ruinas. And oh yeah, they wear these funny hats around here. Oh, birds flying away, massive. I mean, beautiful white bird on the green lake. And yeah, he came up to me, and this has happened multiple times where someone's come up to me, and now I'm suddenly, and now I'm being, now we're, I guess, together. I don't know. And it's like, not, I have to, I want, it's, ugh. There's politeness, and then there's also like protecting yourself and like putting up like a I'm not interested in you like that type of vibe. Um, and I want to be friendly, but then I once I realized like, oh, he's making it very clear that he doesn't want just that. He wants something more, like you know, all very politely disappear into the bushes. Ah, yeah. So yeah, expression of the self, expression of feelings, expression of presence, expression. How do we express ourselves? Through words, written or spoken, sung, through movement, dance, artistic creation, like painting and drawing and stuff. Oh, this dress is gonna be so dirty after this. Oh well. Alright. Yeah. And especially being back online, like there's so many people who have so much to say. I have a lot of things to say. I just don't think I think more and more it's like not for everyone. I've talked about it, like it's not I'm not for everyone. I think that's good. Maybe I'm not a general public type of person just because I'm so unique. No, just because I'm like on a different I'm like elevated. Like I'm not like a I don't know. I'm just not reaching. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, like in my previous, I think it was yesterday. Like the media landscape is changing, so really, who knows? But yeah, I'm interested in how people express themselves, how they enjoy expressing themselves. People come up with very interesting ways to make something beautiful. I think. Yeah, back to the Calo Museum, and there is a little museum here at the Casa del Lago. You know, every single thing, every like pot, pan, cup, plate, utensil, chair, pillow, linen, a picture, photograph, you know, decor. I think it all really contributes, and like it evokes something it evokes different things in different people because like for example par exemple I I I'll admire a religious piece of work you know whether it's gospel and maybe because I'm from the US I have a there's a focus on Christianity, the gospel choirs and the those crazy renaissance painting sculptures and architectural structures, and I'll admire it but it doesn't evoke anything in me because I'm not that type of religious. Even I mean even the temples in like Thailand and like Southeast Asia, like it doesn't I'm Asia, it does nothing for me. I think it's cool, I think it's pretty, it's impressive, but it's not it's not like something that emotionally like moves me. And on the other hand, I feel like a lot of like again, because I love Frida and I know her story. I literally learned about her in high school because I took APR history. I was the only one in that entire like who in the entire I guess lifetime of that class who got a 5. And well, first I had like a really like serious grip, like school had a serious grip on me, and that teacher was so ridiculous, but whatever. It was an art teacher, but we weren't there learning art, we were learning art history, which is a different thing. And I think she might have been out of her league. Yeah. So I think when I get home to San Diego. Well, we'll see, who knows what's all going to go on, but I'd like to really focus on like my well, of course I'll be continuing like videos and maybe it'll change. It seems like every location I get bigger and bolder, and I get more and more comfortable, and better, of course. And each place has been very different so far, because like San Diego, Tucson, and Ciudad de Mexico, like it's been very different, and I've been in a different like phase of life. Obviously, my life moves very, very quickly, if you cannot tell. So yeah, and especially with Frida and her like, it's so harsh, but it's like it's disability and disfigurement, and her, she was unable to bear children, which was something that was really important for her, and she expressed that grief through her art. She also expressed her love through her art, which is obvious, but I think it is really, that really resonated with me, and so I would like to give myself like more time, space, and energy to do that type of work, creation, and stuff like that. Because I had to abandon some of my projects. I had to really, and it's really unfortunate. I had to, but things work out the way they work out. I had to like lift myself up, like the Lorax lifting himself up by his pants and like flying away to another location. So I really just like had to drop everything, and I was already thinking like I really want to pick up Anna Karenina again, because I was halfway through that freaking book. It's a Tolstoy. I mean, it's massive. I deserve to. And also like, who knows how my finances will be, and who knows like how the situation will all be. But like, yeah, I want to finish that book. And I had to throw away, I was doing a little art series. I did like a sky art series. I did like a blue sky with clouds. I did a sunset, and I did like a starry night, an emotional starry night, let's say, something like that. But it was like whatever. It was silly. But I had to throw it away. I just couldn't have it. And this is it's so interesting to like be in this phase, and then also like being in such you know a place where so much art is appreciated, because yes, I think art is appreciated in America, but it is not like that. We don't have patrons of the arts like they used to. Do you know what I mean? And not even in like a, oh, commission me, give me money, but like people, they're not like look at how beautiful and how magnificent we are through something beautiful that someone created. Like like you can see it around here, even just if you see my like motorbikes through the city videos, you can see that even you're zooming by, and the I don't know what they are. There must be some sort of underpass, because there's so much transportation, which I love. I'm a fan of efficient transportation. It's a part of the economy. Um but you zoom by, and there's just these massive murals, and it's like this is a place where people aren't stopping to admire art, but there are beautiful, massive, colorful, uh, culturally significant, you know, reflections of nature and the people type of art in this, like, just the underpasses where you have to zoom by. And I know we don't have that. And San Diego again is one of the, I mean, it's a big city. It's a wealthy city. It's a beautiful city, but we don't really have that kind of thing. We even have like art walk. Maybe it's like an elite thing. Like I do think there's huge like elitism and classism that comes with like what we put on a pedestal in terms of art and artists. And I was thinking about this before when I was thinking about this topic. It's pretty telling that a lot of really, really like important, significant artists and creators and writers and whatever, like maybe they were celebrated while they were alive, but they are not renowned until after their death, which is really, I don't know. I feel like that's so strange. Like that is this very strange thing because in back to gratitude and appreciation, I don't know. I think maybe because things have become so easy and instant, we have lost, and I know we've lost it because I had to find it for myself, like the sense of gratitude. Like we're gratitui, right? A yellow butterfly, screaming children. And even being here, like I see so much beauty in like a patch of grass or the moss on the rock, or a tree stump that maybe someone could sit on, or just like the leaves and the branches and the seeds that fall down. And I think it's beautiful. Yeah, I do. Frida really did a lot of portraits of herself, and then she would, big them up. Like one of the ones that always really resonated with me. It's not the two Fridas. It's the one where it's like her. I don't know what it is. I think it's like Earth, and it's like she's holding a baby because of the, not because, but within the context of knowing that she, one of her like big L's in life was that she could not have children, and she wanted children. So she has like this large figure that is like acting as a baby and being cradled by, you know, a motherly figure. And then like there's like anthropomorphic representations of like the earth and the stars in the sky and the everything, those kinds of things. So yeah, I that's my favorite. I don't know, I just love it. I love it because it connects, and not everything has to be so human centric, but it does really connect like an individual to everything that goes around us. And I did a portrait once, and I had been working on some portraits, and I think I'm pretty good at them. um but yeah, I was thinking I could do more portraits. And I don't know what it was. I feel like, yeah, I was so comfortable in San Diego, and that's what kind of makes me think the moves were. If I'm blowing because there's bees. Uh, the moves kind of, they are intentional. They're not my intentions, but they're, the universe's intentions. Oh, loud plane. The universe's intentions that, something new for you, because or else I would have just, stayed and just like done what I needed to do. And I was thinking about that walking over here because it's a big walk. Um like so much on heavy on the affirmation, like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Everything is working out for me. The universe is conspiring in my, for my greatest highest good. I the shift in like culture and just place and what I'm up to, what I'm doing. Sometimes I feel not like I'm behind, but I'm not on the right path. But I think more and more, like, I just have to believe it. Like, I just have to believe and I have to continue because, I mean, what else, right? And I think this has been really good for me. Like, San Diego was really good for me for what I was doing there. Like, it was a good place to like rest up after my gap and then work and then learn that that wasn't for me, and then also, you know establish some sort of connections or network there. Again, I feel like like, I'm not from San Diego, so it's just an interesting time. Like, I feel like I just move through life very quickly and I transition through things really quickly. And I've said it before, and I used to talk about it in therapy a lot. Like, it's hard for me, or oftentimes I feel like I've not caught up with myself. And so I caught up with myself in San Diego. I went to Tucson. I did what I needed to do there, and then I had to get out of there. And so now I'm here. And at the same time, like, I'm not here forever. And I think it's right for me. I think it brings me back to, what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's giving me a more secure sense of, what I'm up to. What I'm up to right now. So yeah. And then I'll return to San Diego being able being even more expressive and more, mm, not sure of myself, but ready to walk my highest path, because who knows what it's going to be like. I feel like that's always been the case for me. I think I've said it. I'm a bit more plan B. I'm much more plan B, or not plan B, type B. mm, Much more type B than type A. So sometimes things really do just be falling into place, and I know that I have a limited control over the powers that be. And yeah, I feel like in terms of inspiration for my expressive creative endeavors, I, f- I feel like um it's spontaneous, and I feel like, now that I'm not really like frazzled, it's easier for me to kind of be present and enjoy my walks, and know who to talk to, know how to act where, and I think people feel that. I feel like when a lot of foreigners, because you can tell when someone's like a white person, you can tell, especially when it's like a white person who's not from here, or you can tell when it's someone's a traveler because they got like those big backpacks and they got like, um it's not Birkenstocks, but it's those Velcro hiking shoes, and they got shorts on, and they're looking around, And I'm a traveler. I'm well traveled. I don't do that. First of all, that's a tip. If you're looking around, you could be a victim because you look confused and lost. Someone might approach you, and this is what has happened to me. Men approach me and they're like, "Do you need help? Can I get your WhatsApp?" If you need to, before you leave the place, you need to know where you're going next, and you need to look confident no matter what, because you could not know where you're going, but still need to look confident. You can't be looking like, straight up that I read and I believe it. It never happened to me, but if you look like that in Vietnam, they're gonna go on a bike. They're like on their motorbikes all the time, and they're gonna just take your phone. Like I've read that, I've heard that. I believe it. Um, so travel tip, travel 101. I mean, honestly, I think we're upper division, but we could be a grad class at this point, I think. Right, and now my TikTok knows that I love Anthony Bourdain. And it's so interesting because I was thinking about this too. It's not like I grew up knowing what I wanted to do in life. It's not that I grew up like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a. It's not like that. I, um, I honestly didn't even watch Anthony Bourdain until I was really like, I need to watch him to see what other people have done, people who do what I do. And I saw like a interview on the talk. He was like, the question was like, what was your big break? And he was like, 44, working in the kitchen, and he wrote like an article on, I don't know, places to eat in New York, and then they were like, it blew up, and then he was like signed for a book deal. And then he said something interesting. He had to be very discerning, and the counterintuitive thing was like he had to say no so he could be as successful as he needed to be, which I think is a really important lesson, important information. And I know I'm much younger than him. I know I'm, different. Oh my god, this tree is attacking me. Uh, but I think, yeah, being able to say no, express, express that. Like, no, that's not for me. This is not aligned with what I need. Um, and it's nothing personal. I think that's something that's really, I guess it's intuitive, but it's also not, it's not taught. I think you have to know and you have to learn. And I think, I don't know, but being entrepreneurial is something that I didn't think I was ever going to do. It really is I always had to have money. I always had to make money for something, if whether it's, for something that I wanted or something that I needed, like survival, or for living the life that I want to live. And it's made me entrepreneurial in a sense. And I guess that's something you learn. Like, you really don't learn that in school. And I see it on like LinkedIn or like on TikTok. Like, people are like, I don't want to hire the person who has the trust fund and, the connections. Like, it was somebody from Shark Tank. It was the lady from Shark Tank, which is another show I don't really watch. I don't really watch anything anymore. I'm too busy making things. And she was like, I'd rather hire somebody who has the fire in their belly, who is who has the drive, who has it, in themselves. And it's like the fire in their belly is, it honestly comes from having to, needing to make enough money to get by. And I think I think that like creates a lot of resilience and strength. And I think that's important. I think it's important for the world that is being shaped around us. I think it's important in general. I think it's important for the self, because if you're not resilient, then you're not going to be able to navigate life's challenges to the best of your ability. And, that leaves you stuck. Like I've said it before, when I was in Bangkok, people are challenging themselves, people are seeing what they can do. People are camping overnight in a cave with bats in the middle of the Malaysian jungle. People are trekking for 3 weeks with just a backpack of stuff through the Nepali, like, I don't know what goes on in Nepal, but through the Nepal mountains, the Himalayas. My friends have done that. I met a girl who was going to do that. She had just like nearly broken her leg because she was dancing on a table and fell down. And I'm like, girl, that's so Thailand, that's so your Southeast Asia, thing. I met another French girl, and it was kind of tough for everybody. And the French, right? But she had like almost, like, she said she choked on something and nearly died the like sometime in the week. And so she was always crying, which, like, she would say sorry, and I get it. Like, you had a near death experience, it is very difficult. It's traumatizing. It was a bit irritating because it's like now you're kind of ruining everybody else's trip, like, because I don't know you, but I want to enjoy the beach, uh but yeah, we're out here to grow. And oh my god, yeah. My mom and I, and yeah, my friends and I have talked about this. There's a friend who, an ex friend. Not that we've ended the relationship officially, but she said something, I said something, and then she never replied. So I think that says a lot. Um, and I think it's so weird because it's like I inspired you. I think that's so strange. Like, not only did I inspire you, but it's like you know, you were looking up to me and what I did. And now, well, what I called her out about was that she's always been a flaky person. She's always been, and I don't know where I got this from, but I met a lot of people who are flip flopping ass bitches. And I'll say it to your face. I'll be like, "You're a flip flopping ass bitch." And they don't like hearing that. And they'll be like, "No, I'm not a flip flopping ass bitch." And I'll be in their face being like, "You're a flip flopping ass bitch. You have no loyalty and you have no spine." Anyway, so yeah, she didn't show up when I was going to be hosting her for a weekend. And she was a no show, no tell, which in the business world, if you're a no show, like, that's already really irritating because you've wasted my time, which is my time, is my money, is, my energy, is my life force, is how I'm paying the bills, is how I'm getting through, right? And so I had to like rearrange plans, both like interview wise and like personal wise, because it was like Christmas season and we were hanging out with the girls. And yeah, I cannot forget the text that I said, "I forgive you, I believe you, and talk is cheap." And my mom talked about it. When my mom talked about it, she said, like, and I this isn't a general thing, this is like specific to this situation with this person, but I think it is applicable to many people. You go out and you try to find something. Maybe you try to find yourself, like, God forbid, you know, we look for we go searching for ourselves. And I think what my, and this is very specific to this person and this, previous relationship that we had. She had already been to Europe a few times and she had wanted to do Europe. She would want to do specific parts of Europe. Sure, you can do specific parts of Europe. But when you're doing like you're out for months, like you are backpacking and hostel hopping for months, and you've already done it, like, you've already done it. You've already been to Western Europe, which is like the, I'm sorry. Well, first of all, tourists go home. I've been hearing and seeing the headlines that there are lots of protests, and I don't blame them. There are protests everywhere. where they're not protests. And especially if you don't know how to act. If you don't know how to act you and people can tell. And I've worked in service, I've traveled alone, I've traveled in groups, I've traveled with friends, and I've traveled with family. And people know if you're going to be a brat. And people never like come up to me, you know, with attitude or with like some sort of, because first of all, you need to be able to speak some words of the local language. Like, it's out of respect. Um, if you're moving fast, I get it. And especially if you're just in the tourist areas, like, I also get it. Like, I was moving really fast through Southeast Asia and Western Europe. So, no, I didn't learn Cambodian. Like, I didn't learn, I don't even know, Croatian. I don't even know. But it was okay because it's a tourist area and it's also low season. So I'm not there while there's crowds of annoying, loud, bratty, superiority complex, Napoleon out type of people. But you you set yourself up for failure in a way that you made it too simple, too easy, too you stayed in your comfort zone. And I think that's such an interesting thing to think about, like comfort zone and growth and things like that. I just think it's interesting. Like, I wonder what y'all have to say about it, because everyone has a different level and everyone is moving towards different things. And also, sometimes you don't know you're in your comfort zone. Like, I often, it is like, outside forces that are moving me out of my comfort zone. But I love to be in my comfort zone. Like, I love to lay down. I love to lay down. I love to smoke, and I love to watch something, and I love to lay down. I don't even need to watch something. I don't even care. But I guess that's not all I'm meant to do. And so, like, back to my friend's whole thing, like, well, then like, my mom said, well, she just went to Europe, you know? Well, she was just in Europe for 6 months, and she's done it like multiple times before. And yeah, I don't know. My mom was saying, like, if she met you, she was saying that she thought that my friend was apathetic towards meeting me, which was like, I don't know, not it's not nice to hear, but that in the sense that perhaps this girl, she she didn't maybe she went looking for something and she didn't find it because she set herself up for failure, because she made it so easy for herself, because she thought she set herself up for success. And I think it's always going to be the case. When you think something, you say something, and it's so, like, people tell on themselves all the time. I'm trying to set you up for success. If that comes out of their manager's mouth, you should quit, like, because they're evil. I'm not trying to micromanage you. Leave. Yeah. So I just think that she sh- she in not only with being inspired by my trip and how, I mean, I was going through it. It was a gap year, yeah, from a traditional type of thing, but it was also like me, you know, high highs and low lows of, partying in Thailand with a bestie, and then having no money and having to work every single day with nothing, like in Jakarta, Indonesia, and then having to deal with like abusive families in Australia. It was just so, it was, yes, it was exhausting, but wow, I mean, I like obliterated my comfort zone. And again, it was because I didn't get a job post college, and I mean, I can't afford rent on like a server. So I mean, the way Heidi Lau set it up, they really weren't letting their trainees move up. I was a trainee for like months and I was training other people and they weren't so that's that. And honestly, I think that's a whole another thing where like women managers are so insecure because they've had to be in the system for so long and they've had to like navigate it, and they've probably been through a lot of pain and they've had to twist themselves and contort themselves so they could survive and be successful. And also a lot of women compare themselves to other women, and I was Chinese, like I'm fully Chinese, a little South Korean per ancestry.com, but like I'm from China. And and the front of house manager was just an insecure, gross old lady. And whatever. I didn't have any problems with anybody in the back of house. Let's be real. Um, so yeah, go searching for yourself, and or I mean, you do a big trip. Maybe it's the lack of intention. Like, oh, she was like, oh, well, I'll meet my friend here and I'll go to here. That's fun, but when you're doing things, when you're living like out here like that, and you're really, really free. You're too free. You have no structure. And again, I've been saying like I have no sleeping schedule. I have no eating schedule. I've gotten to a point, and I'm working and I'm creating things and I'm like teaching, and I teach in the mornings. I have a lesson tomorrow morning, but when you really have no structure, it it does become it's like when there's too many options in the grocery store and it's overwhelming and you just can't, you gotta leave. It's like that. Like, you have no constraints, you have nothing tying you down, and you're just you're just drinking at the beach every day, and maybe you'll see a sight. But especially like you're going to the bars, and you're in the hostels, and maybe you're meeting people, but you're also all trying to see some things. It becomes a very like a it's freeing, but it's also a free for all, because not that you could lose yourself. And I don't have the details of what happened to her. I don't think I ever will. But I think it really makes you think about what you're doing when you spend months out and you have money. Like, you can blow money like it's not an issue, and you don't have a schedule. You don't have an itinerary. You're not with anybody. You you can do whatever you want. No responsibilities. Like, it is fun. It is fun. But again, when you're doing it for months, you really need to like establish your own routine for yourself. Establish a routine for yourself. Like, again, like the Dutch bros that I was with, like they went to the gym, they got haircuts. Like, you're out for months. Like, you need to be able to maintain some semblance of a normalcy, I think, to keep you, I don't know, centered. Centered for sure. And then, like, again, I don't know what happened to her, or what happened, or if anything happened. But if you're not pushing it, if you're not pushing the limits, if you're not seeing what you can do as a human, like, I'm sorry, Western Europe is not a stretch. You're not stretching, you're not even reaching. Um, you're barely doing anything. I mean, you could literally go to McDonald's every day at the Plaza Center, and I mean, it can get it can get lonely. It can get like you really have to start questioning your purpose, I think. Because it's then it is truly, what am I doing here? Am I here to drink every day? And and this isn't just for like a silly little like let's go for the weekend, let's go for a week or two. This is months. Months. And like I was out for a year. I did a gap year. And you're drinking heavily, and you're meeting people who are the craziest people in the world because they're doing the same shit you're doing, and they're also going to stand up on tables and take like too many shots with you, and then get into fights in the streets. It's the same shit. I've said it before, same shit, different country. And what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I know what I'm doing here. I'm stretching the dollar because I have to. I'm stretching my dollar, the little dollars that I got, and I'm trying to build up my businesses. I'm trying to build up a sustainable income. I think that's valid. Um, Out in Thailand, well, for the first 2 weeks, it was rainy season like crazy, and there were cockroaches in my Airbnb. But even that is like, oh, I'm learning something. I'm learning that there are there are roaches, and there is rain like I've never seen before. And I was in Satan. Like Satan is like, and again, when you're a tourist, you're staying in really nice areas. You're not having to like, because I stayed in, well, when I was living in Bangkok, I was staying in Bangkok Tien. So it was like out, and like, okay, that was out of my comfort zone. No one speaks English, and you have to walk to get to something. Like you have to get to the market. Like you have to go to Lota. Like you cannot. It is like there's discomfort. There's a lot of discomfort. It's hot. You have to dress a certain way. You're part of the community. Like the kids are looking at you and they're talking about you. And so yeah, that was just so different, and that was another level of, okay, this is so uncomfortable, and you don't even realize how uncomfortable it is until, I mean, honestly, I've said it before, my students would come up to me and be like, teacher, are you lonely? And I would be like, I'd honestly like almost cry and be like, no. And I had friends. Like again, I had friends, but it's just that it's a hard transition. Like look, like I went from being the the girl at UC San Diego. Like I was the girl. And then I am, this lost little girl in a big big city. I mean, Bangkok is massive. And then still, like, when you're traveling and you're drinking and you're partying and you're eating, I mean, how are you balancing aspects of yourself? Mm. Yeah, I think, well, y'all if y'all have been with me for since not for since for since ever, um when I was in, well, pre Thailand, I got uh some literature. I was gifted literature on Buddhism, and then while I was there, I really had to, it's not conform or assimilate. I had to make a life for myself. I had to figure out what was right for me and what was not right for me, and I had to just work it out. And I had to just be okay with, some people are not going to like that, and some people are going to love it and be obsessed with it. That's fine. Um but yeah, I still meditate. Like I started meditating daily in Jakarta, Indonesia, just because it was so it was so difficult to, and that's a big city. That is a big big city, and it was just like every day I was teaching for hours a day and just trying to like, eat noodles and things like that. And it was really really difficult, and I remember even crying, and my mom was like, maybe it's like spiritual growing pains. And I I think it was also like, okay, well, I really wish I didn't have to be in this precarious situation right now. Um, but also like I was doing it and I did it and I got through it and I obviously I grew and I made something of myself for myself with that. Um, so yeah, I just focus on meditating, and I think it is good to, you know, return to the very present awareness, and it helps with expression because bouncing all over the place, especially with being able to always be hooked hooked into the digital world. Like I still get all of the horrors. And again, Mexico is not far and is very closely tied in with all of America's relations and all of that. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom and then eat something and then check into my new room soon. I'm interested in chilaquiles. I've seen. I think I'm pretty sure I've had them before. I think it's like eggs on like chips or something like that. Oh, eggs, yeah, and with salsa and beans and probably and cheese and whatever. So I feel like I want that for breakfast tomorrow or one of these days. I'm gonna have to do that. Tonight, I don't know what I feel like it's caldo season. It's like rain, but and there's a caldo place near me. It's like soup. It's like soup with other things in it. There's a caldo place, but the pictures of it look kind of not they weren't appealing to me last night. Um, so yeah, and also like with my I don't know, I just have to go to the bathroom all the time. And so it's like when I have like liquids before bathroom before sleeping or before a big trip, like you're on a or you're in transit, like you're in a van, you're on a bus, you're on a plane. Like I try not to like have s- that type of like liquid heavy meals before. But, you know, who knows? I don't know. But again, like you can see how I am not processing things, but having to work out like what is next. And I think again, I've been through it before, and I also have some sort of limits. Like I'm not in a financial situation where I'm going to go to like a rooftop and I'm going to go to the, karaoke. And I shouldn't be doing that because one, I know it's not safe for me. Like cuidado, for real. Um and it's just like not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to, go to fancy schmancy European restaurants here. I'm here to either eat or I'm here to eat food that's good food for that local food. And and again, when you're balling in comparison, because the USD is still very powerful, when you're balling in comparison to the local currency, I mean, you can really lose track of what you're doing and what you're up to. Um, and you can get pretty misaligned with people who aren't aligned with what you're doing and what you're up to, because there's a lot of people out there who are there's a lot of people out there who are there to party. There's a lot of people out there who are there just to like um be a sex tourist. There's a lot of people like that, and I cannot stand that. We are not on the same level of existence at all. So yeah, that's me expressing myself. Oh, another thing, clothing. I think, and I've talked about fashion, so I'll keep it brief. I think clothing is um an interesting medium for expression. There are definitely some people who don't care at all, but I think it is an indicator. And I think when people look at me, especially how I dress these days, because I've talked about it before. I used to be a leggings and a hoodie type of girl, but now I had to dress professionally in a work environment, like an office environment, and so. I have the clothes for it. And people really do like think I have a lot of money or think I have status or think something or they think something, you know. And I'm like, I've said it before. I'm whatever. Think what you want to think. Oh, yes. It is very peaceful here. I'm enjoying my time. And now I'm hungry. So I'm going to go seek out my next meal. That's my mission. My drive, my mission is my to satiate my hunger. Um yeah. Well, let me know. Let me know how you are best expressing your truest, highest, grandest self. Mm, and or if you are mm, towing the line or exploring the edges of your comfort zone. I'd love to hear about, what y'all are up to, what you're gonna get up to. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.